Okay, it is a slow news cycle, so we'll kind of race through this. By next month, I'm sure we'll really be rocking. Um, there's a couple things happening. Obviously, we've got a problem with entry-level employees. There's a challenge here. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but my daughter just graduated. She's making $20 an hour. She's got a 4.0 from UMass in science, and she's like an entry level tech. And she's thrilled to have gotten a job at all. And look at B of A. B of
Hmm.
A hired 2,000 recent Gen Z guys out of 200,000 applicants. So we have Houston. We may have a problem with the class of 2026, and I don't know where it's going to land. And if anyone has any thoughts on this, but it's news, and I think it's going to be replicated as we race towards graduation day. I think we're going to. My personal opinion is we're going to see a lot of this where there's just no place for these guys to go. There's
So
no entry-level
Andrew's got
jobs.
some really cool information on the young generation has the highest unemployment rate in forever. And I'm sure he'll update that. But yeah, you're what you're feeling, Dave, is absolutely showing through in the numbers.
Well, I mean, there's the B of A numbers, 1%. It's like, okay, and to your point, I'm assuming these 200,000 applicants are legit. So I'm assuming the data's clean. But I think it probably is. I think that's probably what it looks like. And so we're gonna have a problem in the coming few years. We're gonna have to figure this out because I mean that's got all kinds of downstream ramifications, right? I mean, where's our next leadership going to come from? Where's the training going to go? How do we develop next gen management teams, and so on and so forth? So, Ronnie, how are you, Ronnie?
I'm good, David.
Yeah.
How are
Happy
you?
New Year. Are you in
Happy New
London?
Year
Where
to
are
you.
you?
I am back outside of Chicago. I'm back from London. So a year abroad, and lots of stories to tell. So, it's interesting that you bring this up about the recent grads have after having spent a year managing a team that was mostly under the age of 30. Recent grads, people, it's their first job, it's their second job. It was really eye-opening, to understand their take on work, and kind of look at what I experienced was there are so many fundamental things that are missing from how they structure their day that they don't even know what they don't know. They don't know that their calendar is, like their to-do list. They don't know that, you do the worst things of your job first thing in the morning. Like all of those things that we learned, David, over all of our years of experience of, growing up in the 80s and doing things manually and all the rest of those attending things that came with it. It's lost on them. And if granted the ones that grew up in England know to look up at the clock and they can tell they can read a clock hand and an analog clock hand and what have you. But there are many of them that are so bound digitally that they don't even understand how to read a clock face. And there are some real missing components in the young people that are graduating this year. And it's astounding. And it on one hand, it really made me feel old. But on the other hand, it makes me realize there's an opportunity if they're willing to learn that we can teach them the things that we've seen are missing in their kind of their follow through and their strategy of how they attack work. And To be fair, I want to say that it's an ego thing. They all think that they deserve a trophy. They all think that they're the best thing since, stepped onto the stage at Star Search. And they argue with the judges. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm better than what you think you need. And it's like we've given them the license to argue with that. And it's really done them, it's an injustice. I mean, it's really done them a dirty of making them think that, oh, they're just as good as Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, they're just as smart as Bill Gates. And it's like, no, there's a scale there. There's a thermometer of what good looks like. And it's really, truly done them an injustice, I think. I needed to share.
Plus, they're
Yeah,
calling
well,
me
I'm glad.
boomer. My own kids are calling me boomer, Frank. And it's not a positive thing. Like you have the boomer thing hanging around your neck. I used to be proud to be a boomer. Like, hey, I'm a boomer.
Right?
I'm not. I don't think it's working. Frank, I'm sorry. I cut
Well,
you off.
no, I'm glad Ronnie spoke. I mean, it's easy to put blame and be negative and all that. And I know we want to stay much more positive on this. It was just from my perspective, seeing some of this that, oh, students should go and chase the degrees that they want to chase. They should have the experience that they want versus, hey, you need to go in these degree programs because you're going to go make money over here. And so we have a bunch of people that may have some skills or learning that isn't applicable to the workforce today. And do we need to encourage people about the trades? Absolutely. Are there some different industry technology skills, schooling that people need? Because to me, it's all considered school that they need to do. Absolutely. And are there some degrees or industry skills that people don't need? Yeah, and there's probably too many of those in there. It's easier to apply now, which is great. So part of me, I don't get too wound up about the number of applications. Same kind of thing. Universities will say we only accept 2% of our those that apply. Well, yeah, because they applied to 22 schools, the same masses. So, do we have 2 million students that are applying to the same Fortune 100 companies?
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But we also have real evidence that many young people are not landing, and
Right.
we need to help them find something that they can and help direct them. And maybe this is the downfall of some of the helicopter parent activity that these people need to get out there and realize some real life trends and see
Yeah.
what happens.
I like the generational rifts we're already exposing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Ronnie, thank you. Welcome home. It's good
No,
to have
thanks,
you.
David. No, and one more thing, I needed to share this with you folks because I think you'll appreciate this. I was doing a capacity plan on a whiteboard, and I just had a whiteboard marker, and I was like doing the math in my head, and I'm like walking through the how many hours it needs to hire this many people with interviews, five people on an interview panel with debriefs and pre-briefs and everything else. And I was literally doing the math. And one of the folks on my team had his phone with his calculator and he was following along and he stopped and he goes, "You actually are right with those numbers." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing the math in my head." And they're like, "How do you
Good
do
auditing
that?"
it. You're fact
So
checking your
anyway,
numbers.
I,
That's
You
great
there?
stuff.
so
So great.
I just wanted to share that with people that would appreciate it.
I think it
Ronnie goes
resonates.
long division. All right.
I suspect it resonates with everyone on this call.
I have
Real-
I have a rare positive thing to say about AI, but it's going to be ironic. Um, I think what AI did was, first of all, it's usually seen as a mirror. I think a lot of people started using AI in white collar jobs and such, and people are using it in their personal lives, and they're really realizing just how much what they do is just complete nonsense, not worth it, not important. Um, so much of our jobs have just rolled into these increased KPIs and check-ins and things that don't actually move the needle, don't make revenue, don't improve things. I think that what happens is if you look at the cycles of HR being laid off, they lay us off and then they can hire what they want for maybe 6 to 9 months because they got that built up capital. Then it slows down. Now they don't know what to do, so they rush back in to hire. The problem this time is they still have these expectations of AI. All the inquiries I've gotten in the last 2 months, they're not asking about running marketing budgets. They're not asking about what new tech stack. They want to know how to integrate what they're doing into their process. People are finally waking up and going, they'll give us budget. We need to hire. We can't grow anymore. The pressure's growing. We have to grow. But how do we do this correctly? And the good news is as soon as you start paying attention to process, it does get better. But I think that's where the job growth is going to come from. Companies are forced to hire, to train, and they're asking the smart questions. No, they don't. They no longer believe that software is an easy button because it's not working that way. In the meantime, a lot of the AI companies go out of business, and they're still doing some incredible stuff that's out there. But I think we're finally going to look at how what's the definition of work. I think that's going to create a much bigger boom all across the sector. So,
Right
I don't usually see positive things, but our stupidity and lack of processes is going to be a really bright future for 2026.
Sounds like a job opportunity to me. All right, real thanks, Jim. Happy New Year. Opt-in consent form is now out for the Workday Mobley thing, just real quickly. That just came out a couple
I
days
just
ago.
posted it in the chat, David.
Yeah, it's in the chat. I mean, I don't know whether I'm going to do it or not, Frank. I'm not sure, but this is live now. This is going to be a story we'll come back to certainly in next month. We won't touch it again on Tuesday because we want to get to Andrew. But next month we'll have some data to unpack, I suspect, by February on the whole Mobley Workday, and maybe there's some updates with Sirius as well, XM, and see what that's going on. And the last headline here is just revenge quitting. It's kind of just a laugh throwaway headline. I don't buy this. Revenge quitting. I mean, that's like, every quit is a revenge quit. I don't even know what the headline is. So I don't know that this is a big headline here. I don't know if anyone has any.
I'm jealous of those who have the capital to
exactly
quit and wait
That's
for the
exactly
next
what
job.
I know.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right, Jeff.
Hey, Dave, on that Mobley thing, are you saying we should all sign up and get a part of it?
Look, did you apply for a job? Are you over 40? Sorry, everyone on this call probably qualifies. I don't know. And did you apply through Workday, and did you get rejected or nothing? Did nothing happen? You click through it. The questionnaire is so ridiculously simple. I think as most class actions are at the front end. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I almost did it yesterday, Blair, to be honest with you. And I said, well, slow down. Careful what you wish for, because then you're a plaintiff. You're in. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Frank, Jeff, you can go to the next one if you want.
Yeah, I think Sharon has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who is it that's here from Jovio? It just said Jovio.
That's me
Sylvia back.
and Tom.
Oh, hi,
Tom?
Tom. I saw your
Maria.
note saying that that folks are having trouble finding tradespeople, welders and electricians, and I think from a standpoint of finding a job and a standpoint of hiring, there's a lot of things that can happen. I talked to Lowe's Foundation and Hiring Our Heroes, and they have this wonderful program. They've collaborated to put military veterans, to get them trained in trades and then find them jobs. And it's been an absolute phenomenal success. And I think that more concentration on that would help from a standpoint, of course, filling the positions, but also of people finding jobs.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there was a Wall Street Journal headline. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and $160,000 a year for mechanics, and Ford and they can't fill the positions.
Wow, that's
And you've got the new build submarines. You guys are probably seeing some of this brand new
Electric boat.
Yeah, that is there's gonna be a huge need, and you've got the data centers and the hyperscale, like the massive amount of trades that we need to sort of like get ready for the next age is going to be a rush. And so it needs to start earlier though, right? It starts in elementary school. It's a policy level thing. It has to start with state and local governments and the educational programs and bringing back shop class and those things that we used to have, to date myself, right? Where you could learn how to work with your hands and you could learn those skills. And then it was like, everybody needs to go get a degree. And, like just because you're a major, ancient Egyptian.
Electric boat, man. They need 5,000 people. It's amazing. They bought a shopping mall that was going out of business in Eastern Connecticut, and they're going to build out some learning, which is great. They still need that entry level. And so a person like me, they're going to say, hey, I'm looking for someone 15 years that have done X, Y, and Z, or 20 years doing that. And there just aren't enough humans that have 20 years of this particular form of welding. You can't invent those overnight, and they have to build it. Yeah.
So true.